Okay, let's talk about AI. You cannot open up a newspaper or a business section without hearing about technology. How is it transforming the future of work, especially leadership capacity?
Yeah, I'm curious who here has played around with ChatGPT. It's amazing, it's what I heard. I've heard people, when I ask that question, use it for planning workouts, for doing a grocery list when you have certain items in your cabinet or in your fridge, or want to keep under a certain budget. I've heard people do it for performance reviews, which I wouldn't recommend, but is used quite a bit. And so I think this is the perfect example. About a year ago, or just over a year ago, no one had access to ChatGPT unless you were really involved in these generative AI conversations. So we're seeing in the past, even 5 years ago, 3 years ago, artificial intelligence was something that was really reserved for tech companies or tech roles within companies to explore, hey, how are we embedding this into these functions of our jobs? And what the last few years has done is really spread it across all operations, all verticals, all pieces of work. So if you're not exploring that as a business and creating like an enterprise solution, you know your people are probably, as I do at the state, because we're not allowed to use it, is use it on my personal phone and I email myself the answers for certain things. So I think that's one of the big pieces. Don't tell. I think that's one of the big pieces is making sure that you're encouraging and creating a safe way to experiment with technology. The half-life of a tech skill is about 5 years. So if you're not creating that fertile playing ground for your teams, then they're quickly going to be outdated. Because in the past you could say, yep, I'm digitally literate, I know how to use Microsoft Office or a PC, and that doesn't get you very far anymore, and even learning the new tools is not going to get you very far. So a big part of the technological transformation is not even really the tech itself, but how do we create this culture of trying new technology out and embedding it across these pieces of our business so that we can be more efficient. And it can also be really fun. So, yeah.
I mean, Julie, that's your culture, right? That is what you really created. Will you give us some little insights? How do you do it?
Well, I'm going to lead with my same thing for this one. Not one answer. I think everyone's trying to figure it out. But something you just said struck me, and then I'll answer the question more directly. We were just having a conversation as an executive leadership team about the use of AI. And we talked about at what point do you just want people experimenting, right? You want innovation, right? So you want everyone out there trying all kinds of different things in kind of an unrestrained way. So if marketing wants to use it to create content, they can. If you want to use it over here, like we use it in HR actually quite a bit. You can use it on an employee survey to try to figure out what the needs are. If you get 2,500 responses, you can use it on resumes. I mean, there's a zillion things. So there's one kind of beginning phase where you really want people out there experimenting, so you don't want to stifle innovation. But then there comes a point when you really want to centralize it, because you can't be so fragmented when you have people all over the business choosing their own tools, doing their own things. You have security issues, you have governance issues. So there's so much to it as you start to look at it from an organizational perspective. I think as the questions go on, we'll talk about it both from a leadership perspective. For now, I can tackle it from a change management perspective, because I think it's a mindset shift and it's behavior change. So if you're looking at a group of 3,500 employees, guess what? They're scared. They're like, my job's going to go away because this thing that I don't even know or understand is going to take over. So how do you start to introduce this? You want the innovation. We need it. This is happening, and it's happening really fast. So how do you introduce it to your organization in a way that feels safe, so they're not scared, so they lean into it as opposed to fighting it? Because you can spend millions of dollars on the best, AI or, a trained tool out of the box, or however you want to do it. But if you don't get behavior change, you have no savings. You've done nothing. So we're starting actually at Zayo, a pretty big initiative, and I don't have it, it's not coined yet, but the way we're thinking about it is, because we're talking a lot about how the organization is growing and how we're going to use automation to further ourselves and to advance the organization. And basically what I'm saying is my commitment is an investment to our employees that we're bringing you along with us. You know what I mean? We're going to upskill you. We're going to bring you along. You will not be left by the wayside. So even at the very least, when they start to see things come out, they can hook it to a broader statement that they understand because we told them it's coming, and also it a little bit alleviates the fear. Now, the truth is, some jobs will go away. I mean, honestly, that's kind of part of what it is, but if you can commit to upskilling as many people as possible and start to really tangibly take those actions, then they start to trust you.
Do you want to add something?
I wanted to add too that I think that's a really great opportunity for some of those intergenerational work groups is in those playgrounds, because I think many people have assumptions about younger generations and their ability to use all sorts of technology, but what we know is that their ability to apply that in different contexts and to kind of pair that with their work is not where they're strongest, nor are their cybersecurity practices strongest. And at the same time, we often hear that younger generations can lack those human skills, the relational skills that older workers often, that's what they play, that's what they've been doing. So using those opportunities to connect the dots and try that out and create a safe space to play around with these technologies and build that camaraderie between generations is a cool way that we've seen it play out.
One more thing I'll add to that, we've been doing all kinds of research on it, so this is like the perfect moment for me to be sharing insights. One of the things that we're learning that we've seen is that in a typical environment, you can have a training course, in-person, video, micro-learnings, all the typical things that we see. With AI, people are finding it's a lot better if you do an experimental learning, like an in-person with a group of people. So then, to your point, you grab people from multiple generations, ethnicities, genders, whatever it may be, and they're all learning it together at the same time tangibly. And that has been known to really help with the behavior change, because then it feels less scary and everyone's doing it together. So that's something that we recently have embarked on.
It was really great.